What's up, y'all? It's MacArthur, and we are here at HBCU TUNES with PAC. PAC is a Morehouse student from the AUC. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
So, what's good, everybody? My name is Pac. I'm an artist from Tampa, Florida, and I'm a rising senior at Morehouse College.
Okay, so why did you choose your HBCU?
So I made the choice to go to my HBCU in seventh grade. It was my dream school at the time, and yeah, I'm from Florida, I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I just think like growing up in this space, I didn't see a lot of black teachers. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a black male teacher up until going to college, nor did I see one for real. So I think for me, it was just I needed to be in a space that could help me cultivate myself as a man, help me grow, but also just somewhere that felt safe. You know what I mean? I felt like after doing my research, Morehouse was just a place for me. Yeah, for sure.
And I know that you have like two parents who are both pastors, and I'm
Mm,
trying to figure out how God was implemented into your music because I hear him a lot referenced. Was
mm.
God a big factor in being a safe space for you at Morehouse? Was that like a reason you chose the school?
Yeah, I think obviously, like, well, I'll just say, well, let me not say obviously, but if you do any research on the history of Morehouse College, Morehouse College is so deeply rooted in faith. But I think bigger than that, I just personally felt like I was called to go to that school. I think I prayed a lot about it. My parents, neither of them went to college, so I am a first generation college student, and I think I was just really thinking about, my parents always taught me to plant my seeds in fertile ground. And so for me, I was looking at a place that I could go to knowing that I'm destined for greatness and be in a space to actually cultivate that and to grow into what I'm meant to be. So I think I prayed about it a lot, and God was definitely all in that conversation, and He's been since I went as well. Because I think without Him, I don't think I'd still be at Morehouse. I don't think I'd still be in college. I don't know if I'd still be here. So God's definitely been a big part of all of that for sure. Yeah.
Okay, got you. And how has your background played into your like artistic approach? I know you said you're from Tampa, Florida, and you have like
Mm.
Jamaican heritage.
Yeah.
How is
So so I'm from Tampa. I grew up in the church. I feel like all of it just plays into it. I started off playing drums at 4 years old, and that started in church. And since then, that kind of was like literally the birth of everything musically. I moved to piano, and then I started singing in the chorus at school, and then started making my own music in high school just to kind of learn how things worked. Then stopped, managed people from there. It was always just this thing, but at the same time, like through that all, I was still playing drums at church and different stuff like that. And I just feel like without the exposure, of my parents playing reggae music in the house and having Bob Marley performing on TV when I woke up in the morning, without all of that exposure, I don't think I'd be the artist that I am. But my where I grew up from, and my parents, they really just helped me to understand early how powerful music can be. And I
yeah.
think that's always been something that I've had an affinity for sure.
And understanding how powerful music is as an artist and knowing that you transferred from Tampa to Atlanta,
Mm.
how has like that transformation shaped you and like what are some sacrifices you think you had to make for music, being an artist doing that transition?
Mm. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me has been, you know, we kind of talked about this. I think it's been accepting the positives and the negatives about both spaces that I'm from. I think understanding the duality and what I love about Tampa and what I hate about Tampa, understand the duality of what I love about Atlanta and what I hate about Atlanta. It's allowed me to look at everything concerning my music different. I think the grace that I give to the space that I live in really reflects the grace that I give to myself. There's things about myself as an artist that other people literally love that I hate. I can tell you right now, like I didn't begin to love my vocal inflection until I made Forward, which is my new single. So I put out a whole project, not really still liking my voice. And I think for me, it's been accepting that, while I do have certain insecurities and different stuff like that, recognizing that the same thing that I might not love can be the thing that somebody literally appreciates the most about me. So I think in the transition, in having to accept the changes and the differences of the locations, I've just learned to just practice more gratitude and more patience. And I think learning that with my space, learning that with the people in those spaces and all the changes, it inevitably impacts how look at myself and the grace that I give to myself. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And you said that you bet on yourself. That was one of the big themes and one of your
Mm-hmm.
tracks on your project. What is something that you think like gave you that sense of confidence? And I know we spoke about like you still coming into that, and we all are
Mm-hmm.
like being an adulting and coming into like what we are now. But like, what do you think as a youngin, like as a jit, was something that instilled that type of confidence in you?
Legit. I mean, as a kid, like I got bullied. You know what I mean? And like I'm not trying to promote bullying, but like that built me up so much. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish that on nobody, but because that was my experience, I recognize that like going through people like I'll tell you this for example. This one story, like when I was in middle school, I had put out this song. So like I told you a lot that I haven't told nobody. I put out this song and it was called Moving Like a King. It was this rap song, and at the time it's terrible, don't get me wrong. But it was me taking a step to just be confident enough to do it.
Yeah.
And I got bullied so bad the next day. I put it out on a Sunday. The next day I went to school. I got like ripped in the hallway. Like people were just going in on me and just were telling me like, bro, you are not meant for this. Stop. And it literally had me go to the bathroom and cry. And I think those experiences at the time, like it silenced my voice so much. And then I just remembered one day having someone tell me like at our eighth grade graduation that me making that move like made them confident enough to take steps in their own life. And I'll just say like for me, I think those things that I've been through, I've had so many moments like that since where I just felt so beat up on, so defeated, etc. And it would just be little reminders from people. And I don't think the reminders from people served as much as like, oh, thank you. The affirmation helps me keep moving. I think it was more so a thing of, oh God, you hear my prayers. Like you're reminding me that I'm not here by myself. And fast forward, I'm now about to be 22 in September, and I'm making music. And the amount of people who love the music is just so interesting to me because I remember those days where it was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna let nobody hear my voice. So yeah, I think all those experiences definitely impact where I'm at now for sure.
Man, don't talk about the voice stuff because man, being a singer is so
Yeah.
hard. Like it's
I don't think
so
people get it. I don't
it's
think people get
literally
it.
not fun.
Yeah.
And then you got to think like when you start off young, our
Mm-hmm.
voices are fluctuating
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
day, every day. And then like I had found myself smoking young too in high school. So when by the
Mm-hmm.
time I wanted to start doing music, my voice was like all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
it's a lot that goes into like being confident. So I'm very sorry that they tore you down like that because I've had people
No,
come at
it's
me.
good.
Yeah.
It's good. I think like one thing I try to explain, I'm gonna say this too. I feel like it's like one of my fears for like technology and just like so much social media is that now people have so many ways to obviously voice their opinions. And so I mean I think it's not no shock to say that people are definitely being affected that we probably aren't recognizing are being affected by this. But I just encourage anybody. Like I was that kid who was getting bullied, and I was going home and sitting in my room all by myself while people were out partying and having fun. And at the time, I saw it as like a curse. But I was going home and I was watching interviews. I'm watching Breakfast Club interviews, Hot 97 interviews. I'm watching Zane Lowe talk to different artists. I'm finding new music and different stuff like that. And so I think it's just reminding yourself that like even though these moments don't always feel fortunate, they are like literally blessings. Every single moment that we're living on this earth, just able to be somewhere has a blessing in it. You just gotta find it. You know what I'm
Everything is
saying?
about perception. I love to say
Yeah.
like when I go through stuff like, oh, this must be somebody else's perception that I never got to
Exactly.
see. And like now I can put myself in those shoes and like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
extend that
Yeah.
humility.
Adapt. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
find a way to just to make sense of where you at. Yeah.
So I know you wear like many hats. I was looking at your work and like what you do artistically with like videos, and I read some stuff about you venturing into like artist management and stuff. What do
Mhm.
you see as like your final destination as an artist, a businessman?
Yeah. Um, my final destination, like if we're talking about really final, I just want a world where like people just got to experience Joshua in every space that he desired to be experienced in. And I think I do things in film, I do things in fashion, like you said, mentioned, artist management. My biggest thing is I just want to like be tapped in each place so that I can just help dope people in those spaces. That's my thing. Like when it like right now I currently manage an artist named Worldwide Eli. He's based out of Georgia, and I'm doing that as I pursue my career as an artist because honestly, he's a dope artist, and I know that I'm in a space where I can help him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just really where I'm at with everything. Like right now, I have a company. It's called Chaos, and so that's my space to help other artists like myself and creative kind of get tapped into different spaces, and we cross contaminate. We work, across the board. But yeah, that's really my end goal. So whether that means starting a label, whether that means doing community service work, whether that means doing films, my biggest thing is I feel like I'm here to help, and I just want to do that, do whatever medium makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
being that you worked at, well, you interned with a couple different labels, UMG and Island Records. How did that play into like your flourishing? I think is how
Mhm.
you say that. Of
Yeah.
like your dreams of wanting to have a record label or like venture
Mhm.
off into the business side. Because I know a lot of artists. My fear initially with going into college in the first place was that I was scared of contracts and like I didn't
Mhm.
I used to watch Unsung with my mom, and so I was
Yeah.
scared of like getting fucked over, and I knew I
I
wanted
know
to
it's
do
good.
music. I knew I wanted to do music young, and I'm like looking at
Me too.
TLC and things, and I'm like
Mhm.
nah. And so how did that experience at the record labels shape your
Yeah.
mindset to what it is now?
So so big up to 1824. That's actually where I currently work. And that's a department under Universal Music Group. It's interesting because I actually started working in the labels before I started doing music.
Mm,
And I think to really give you one head on answer, my experience working in the labels is really what pushed me to want to be an artist.
mm,
And it wasn't because it was, and this is no diss to Universal. Shout out y'all, we love y'all, any of the labels under. But I think I just honestly did learn. I think this is a discourse that a lot of people, take part in, is that a lot of these artists are just here for the money.
yeah.
They are just here to get a quick bag, and the labels do support that. And I think what my biggest takeaway has been in working in it is that we need more good artists. We need more. And when I say good, I don't mean like sound good. I mean good people, just to start off. Like people who care about making sure that what they put out isn't contaminating the world, but is helping to heal it. And I'm not saying that we all got to get preachy and like have to talk about deep stuff. I'm more so saying that like, let's make sure our lifestyle is like matching up with what we desire for ourselves. We're not preaching something that we wouldn't desire for ourselves. But yeah, I think it just really empowered me to be like, you know what, no, I'm gonna go get it. Because at the end of the day, like, there's so many dope artists out there who are signed, and there's dope artists who aren't signed who are putting out great stuff. And the labels, if you know how to work it right, they're here to support at the end of the day. The label's
Yeah.
an engine, it's not supposed to create you. I think you've been playing the game wrong a little bit. And so for me, it's just been like, I'm gonna learn the label game. I might work in the labels, I might sign to a label, I might do my own thing. But I definitely think what I will say, a lot of people who are scared about the label conversations, I would say the biggest thing we have as black people, I'm gonna say specifically, have to make sure we don't do is allow our fear to stop us from making the move.
Yeah.
Get the information, like figure it out. Again, I don't mean to be preachy, but like it's the truth. Like the Bible says, my people fail because of
We
lack
got
of knowledge.
time.
Like,
Come on. No, come
yeah, but
on.
like it's real. Like we fail so many times because we just don't have the knowledge. So
Yeah.
my biggest thing is I'm never gonna put myself in a position contractually to where I'm in a space that I cannot grow. I'm in a space where I can't move and flow the way I want to. But because I've allowed myself to still be committed to the fact that I'm gonna make moves and I'm gonna have these conversations, I've just become, I think, like somewhat of a dog when it comes into these spaces. Like I think, Jay-Z has a dope quote where he talks about how he moves as himself in each space. And I think that's what I've really made myself at this point. It's kind of someone who moves as himself in each space. Everybody knows it's PAC when
Yeah.
we're sitting with the white folk to talk about the white artists, and it's PAC when we sit with the black folk to talk about the black artists. It's gonna be PAC regardless.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a level of confidence that you got to go in those rooms with, understanding that at the end of the day, no matter how many times they try to get over on us as artists, no matter how many times we're not put in the position that we deserve, the one thing that does not change is your talent. The only thing that can change is your commitment to it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Good
So
one.
that's how I kind of look at it.
Good one. Great one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have a little game.
Oh
So
man,
I have a game I want
that
to
made me
play.
making me nervous.
No, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. I have a game. It's called Deep Dive. I want to
Alright.
ask, what's a song that you've created with an X in reference, or what's a song that you would dedicate to an X?
Uh, um. Okay, I'm a plug for a moment. So I got a song that's coming out probably end of August, maybe beginning of September. I'm really looking forward to the fall time.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I haven't actually said it at all, so this is gonna be cool. 'Cause I know people are gonna look forward to this. But it's called Stranded. And I just went through an experience where I felt stranded. You know, I think sometimes we build our worlds around the people who we love, and you know it's not a good thing to do, but it's the truth. And I think we find ourselves in positions where sometimes those things don't last, and when they don't last, you have to figure out how to rebuild everything around you, and it can feel like you're on an island by yourself. And so that's definitely where that song comes from, and that concept is built in that song. And yeah, it definitely is not a diss at all, but I think, music my therapy. So
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
all here for put that shit on the floor with the music.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love. I'm actually like contemplating name dropping at this point because I'm like I might Drake y'all. The way y'all making me feel is
Hey,
like
look, I'm not gonna lie. I got a project that I'm working on. I don't have no dates for that, so there's nothing really to it. But we gonna definitely, there's some name dropping or whatever, just off
yeah.
the strength of like, if it happened, it happened.
If it rhymed, it
Talk
rhymed.
about
I
it.
can't help that. um. Okay. Next question is gonna be:
Mm.
being that you're a transfer student, I'm from California. I go to school at TSU, and that's Texas Southern University. What's a song on your HBCU campus that is very popular, prominent, that you do not like? Like, there's a bunch that I.
Man, what? Okay, Morehouse. That's crazy. That's a crazy question. Oh my gosh, what's the song I don't like? Um. Oh, because this can get me this can get me canceled.
Listen,
No, you know what
everybody
I'm
is
saying?
entitled to their own opinion.
This is not a song that I don't like. I just don't like how my school operates with this song, and it's
Mm.
gotta be Finito by Chief Keef. Like, we can't abuse the song. Like,
I feel like that, and they're
bro.
gonna drag us. I know when this dropped.
Nah, I got locks, and I feel like every time that song comes on, like people are looking at me like, oh, I'm supposed to be like jumping, like bro, like I've been hearing that song since high school. We're good now,
And
It's
literally like times 100 in high school. So it's
yeah,
not like we're just listening. That's how I feel about Dreams and
yeah.
Nightmares. Dreams and Nightmares, it's
But
like
see, nah, cause I know Dreams and Nightmares word for word, so it's still
it,
like it's still got
it's
that,
a banger, like, but it's like, are we gonna put everybody playlist? Is this on like are we gonna come
It's
on?
facts though. It's facts. And I will say some of the DJs, like y'all be spending it too long. You know what I'm saying? Once
Like
the
at
beat
least get
drop, we got
us
a couple more lines and we can head out, bro. We good.
my
We can move on.
god.
For sure. I feel you on that. For sure.
That is so stressful. And like being from California, like
Yeah.
it's different. And then
Oh,
they'll
so
play.
that's a whole different
We'll
concept
ask
for sure.
somebody to play some West Coast music. They'll play Tooted and Booted, like, or they'll play like something hella old. Like,
Mm,
it'd be disrespectful at this point.
feel that.
This next segment is gonna be helpful tips. So, being that you are in the AUC and you guys have like a resource of 3 different schools right by each other, how do you feed off that, and what is some tips that you can give to upcoming artists in that environment so that they can thrive when they get there?
Yeah. The AUC is such a beautiful space. Like I always tell everybody around me, shout out to Nate Speaks. Y'all should
Oh,
definitely come there if y'all get
I
a chance.
loved her
Bro, Nate is
project.
ill. Like, and
Tell her
I
call
really
me.
like.
Tell her
Hey,
call me.
definitely, I'm gonna tell. Hey, we gonna make sure that happens for sure.
Yes,
Nay is the
because
dopest, and she's so humble. And I think Nay came in as a freshman while and I kept seeing everything that she was doing. And I've had this conversation with her about how just seeing her hunger pushed me to really want to go out and do it myself. And so yeah, I really just say, advice I would give to creatives going into these spaces, even if it's not a HBCU, you know what I'm saying? Just like their college spaces in general. I know you always gonna hear things like utilize your network. I want to say with that, in trying to utilize your network, really just focus on like building your confidence. I think for me, I always had the desire to tell people about things that I want to do, and even now I get so nervous to do it sometimes. Like before I put up a post, I'm sitting there like making sure every single letter is right, like everything got to look right. But I think it's because we want people, we want to be received. But I think it's just
Correct.
understanding that no matter what background you came from, no matter who you're doing what you're doing for, we all have different pressures that we're under and different reasons why we're going so hard. Remember that everybody does have their own specific circumstance. So for each person that you can think won't receive you, know that there's like probably so many more who are there with open arms because they're in the same position as you. And like I said, for somebody like Nate Speaks, if she wasn't taking the steps that she was to do what she's doing, I might not be taking all the steps that I did. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And for all I know, that's probably for somebody else too, vice versa. You feel what I'm saying?
definitely.
So for me, it's just remember that you in a space with like, bro, you in a space that you might not be in again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so blessed to be able to walk down Brown Street, to be able to walk down these different places that are at our college, and just to have somebody pull me over and be like, hey, I like that song. You know what I'm saying? I got people hitting my phone while I'm at home. I haven't seen those people for the whole summer, but because they just want to see somebody else win, like that's just beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I really just say like, make sure you get out your room. You know what I'm saying? Tap in with people. I'm not saying it got to be a party. Like I think sometimes we get too like small minded, but like it does take a little bit of confidence, and this is the time to push yourself, like we said earlier. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
yeah,
I think the AUC is flourishing with those alt type of environment, safe spaces too. Like
yeah,
that's one of the places that I seen prominently black that is doing it and doing it right. Like
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
the people in the AUC be on a different type of float of like
Mhm.
we all
Yeah,
just
yeah, but you know what I'm gonna say too, and I just want to say this because I know like going to Morehouse, we have this like image, you know what I'm saying, the Morehouse man, and sometimes can become very toxic. So I guess like, and it's not to go against anything that you said at all,
definitely.
but it is to say like I do want to say one thing I'm reminding myself of, and I want everybody to remind themselves of, is that everything looks better than it does in person. And I'm not saying that the AUC is like a terrible place or anything like that, but I think like our generation, like we do compare a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I just want to say that because I tell you right now, I think that pressure sometimes, even for me, like it can get so pressure filled because yeah, it does look like everybody got it together, and then like I remember times where I felt like I didn't want to talk to anybody about what I was going through, especially like going through thoughts of wanting like I'm vulnerable about this on my project, but like even thoughts of wanting to commit suicide and like different stuff that I was facing while on campus.
Mm.
That experience of seeing everybody look like they had it all together, that almost took me out of here because it was like it was a lot of pressure. So the only thing I'll say to that too is just like everything looks away, but man, the looks is just half of it. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's not. It really
Always.
don't matter if you're not out here. If you're not out here together with yourself, with your faith. A lot of people get in bags, and they're not gonna leave this earth at peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's my big thing. Is just like
I'm heavy
I
on
be,
that though. Like
yeah,
I'm
it's
heavy
real,
on
for
like
real.
being morally correct. And even when
Hmm.
you do slip up, like I'm a big person on like own it and let's try to go here.
Yeah,
Like
it's
don't be
real.
stagnant and then you're making excuses for being stagnant and then like
Hmm.
I think we should just get out of that
Yeah, it's
mentality. Like
accountability for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
like accountability. And
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely that just paused me right there when you said
No, you
that.
good for sure. Yeah.
Cause no, Houston is like that too. When I first got to
Mhm.
Houston, it was real like everything is like
Yeah.
flashy lights. It kind of feels like you're not in where I go to school because Prairie View is in the middle of nowhere, so they have like more of a
Hmm.
college experience than like the TSU kids who are in the middle of the inner city, close to
Yeah.
downtown. We're getting wrapped up with locals and just like it's a different
Yeah.
experience.
That's how the AUC could feel. We're like literally 5 minutes away from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So
Mm.
whenever there's something big going on, we get literally caught in the middle of it. And it can't feel like you're not even at school no more.
It
Like,
feels like I'm
yeah.
literally just out here living, being an adult, and I wanted a college
hmm
experience. Like,
Yeah, like I'm at college so I can be here.
like, oh my goodness. Okay, so last segment is gonna be what's that tune? So this is gonna be basically a game. I'm gonna ask you like, what is a song that makes you feel like X? X can be like shower song, and then you give a song that makes you feel like this is what I would play in the shower. So
Okay.
we'll start with like Night Drive.
Night Drive. I really hope I don't butcher the name, but it's like swinging on Westheimer, I think. It's
Don
the
Toliver.
name Oliver. Yeah, that's definitely Night Drive for
You know
sure.
what's funny? I have on your file when I was researching you, inspo
Mhm.
Don Toliver from
Yeah.
File 001. That song reminded me
Yeah.
of Don Toliver. I love
Don
vocoders too.
Toliver, Don Toliver, Travis Scott, that whole camp and that whole sound definitely like I always give credit. They impact my sound a lot for sure, and I just appreciate the way that they go about melodies and blending it with hip hop is dope.
That's so
Yeah.
dope. That's funny. HBCU life.
HBCU life. I go to a school in Atlanta, so I'm trying to like, cause I really want to say EA by Young Nudie, just cause like
Mm.
that's my school specifically, but like HBCU life, I think it would have to be like Wipe Me Down by Boosie, just cause
Oh,
like I just that's what I hear. I feel like once I think about my HBCU, I just hear like and just you think of Nucky You Buck, like all those just oldies, but like the ones that really
soundtracks
feel
to
like you at your HBCU.
HBCUs for real.
Yeah,
Okay, mom and dad.
mom and dad, man, mom and dad. I would have to say I can't say a specific song, but every single song ever made by Barris Hammond. He's an artist from Jamaica. Um, he's just a legend, and my parents just played him throughout the house. And then if I can give one more, I would say No Weapon by Fred Hammond.
Ooh,
I just feel like that just my parents are pastors, like I said, and I just remember hearing that song played in our church all the time. And
gotcha.
yeah, that's just reminds me of my parents for sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
only do three of those questions. It's a new segment we rolling out. So
So,
you're
so that
actually
was
the
cool.
first. Yeah, you're the
Cool.
first one to do it. So next topic of business is gonna be. I want you to shout out like two artists that you think need more recognition, or even if they have recognition, they just need to be heard. Like they got a message that you want to get out there.
Cool, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna do one artist that's like mm, smaller, I guess you could say, and then I'm gonna do one that I think is bigger that just needs more recognition. Can I do that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'll say on the smaller level, of course, we already shout out Nate Speaks. I also want to shout out my boy Jay Ditto. He's a producer and artist from New Jersey. He goes to Morehouse as well.
Producer
Um,
love. We love producers.
yeah,
Period.
yeah. He actually put out a project called Taking Up Space. And that project is just so dope. I'm on there as well. And yeah, I just appreciate the way that he really cares about the sounds and the time that he puts into his music. So if you love people like K Tronada, if you love Thundercat, if you love any of those people, he's definitely somebody tapping with. That's Jay
Drop his
Ditto.
at.
Jay Ditto. Yeah.
Spell that for me. Like
So that is
DIDO.
J space Ditto.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a song with him called "I Don't Even Know Yet." So if y'all look at my music, I'm sure you can find it on there. And then a bigger artist, man. I only said I want to do a bigger artist just because I was listening to her earlier today, and she's one of my biggest inspirations ever. And I just realized like I still feel like she don't get the credit she deserves, and that's Solange.
Ooh.
So if y'all have not like taken time to go listen to Solange's album, please just like do that for me personally.
Yeah. I
Like
feel like
Solange
Solange
is
really
dope,
gonna hit
and I
it.
know that, and that's with all respect to Beyonce. Don't get me wrong, but she's so dope in her own special way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she deserves a lot more recognition. A lot of her performances, she has dancers, and the way that she highlights them, I'm looking forward. I love pulling inspo, and I definitely always give credit because I'm just a student of this game. So I can't wait for people to see my live performance and just kind of see like be able to pinpoint the things that I was inspired by as a kid and kind of see how they play out now, especially as a man too.
Yeah.
I think some of these women artists take things to like an extent that I feel like a lot of the men just are so lackluster with, and I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
diss anybody in saying that.
gosh.
But like, I can't wait to kind of be able to really give that to the game as a man, as a black man, and also just someone who genuinely has been able to soak up so much beautiful artistry from black women. Like there's a
I
lot. It's
feel
so
the
yeah,
exact same. A lot of my inspo is from black women. Anita Baker,
bro.
SZA, Summer Walker. Like, women
Yeah,
are
yeah,
ruling music. Like, it's not
yeah.
just, oh, they're running the rap game. Women have been running music for about like a
Yeah.
cool 10 years
And
now to me. To
you know,
me.
the matter is just now they're just getting a little bit more recognition. But they've been doing this since the day, like day one. And honestly, if we're gonna be honest, we're not about to take that little recognition either and make it seem like it's what it needs
It
to
needs
be.
to
They
be.
still need
Thank you.
more. There's still more recognition that's needs to be said. And like I said, I shout out my boy Ditto, but I just want to even go back and just say again, like y'all tapping when they speak, sees the future. Like, yeah, man, we got so much
Her
beautiful art.
project is called Neighborhood. Is it
Yeah.
Neighborhood Speaks or Neighborhood Talk?
Ooh, I'm going blank, and I do not want to slaughter it, but I know it's
Her
neighborhood.
shit
Y'all
is
can look it
fire,
up.
y'all. Go
Definitely, she's
stream
dope.
it. She's
Yeah,
on the
neighborhood healer just came back to
Neighborhood
my mind.
Healer.
Neighborhood healer.
That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
for
And
sure,
she's
for sure.
from DMV, right? I'm
No, no,
not
no, she's from Boston. She's from Boston.
Boston.
She yeah.
Boston.
Shout out Boston. They got some talented people in Boston. She putting on. Also, shout out to Yana G. That's one of her homies. Excuse me, homegirls. She makes R&B music. It's beautiful. So yeah,
Yes.
shout out Boston for sure.
Yes. Um oh my god, you finna make me shout somebody out. It's this
Yeah.
song, y'all, I've been listening to on repeat. I'm not sure what school she goes to, but I think she's in the AUC. Her name is Destiny Brianna. It's a song called Girls from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I'm
Go
not
back.
hip. Put me on. Put me on. I'm
No,
not hip for sure.
it's literally so dope. And I wanted to like I'm trying to figure out who know her because
Mm-hmm.
like I DM'd her and I was
Yeah.
like, please, we need to get
Hey, the
together.
HBCUs are pushing some crazy music. Y'all better,
And
y'all
I'm
better
like,
tap
that's
in.
why I want to make this platform because I just
Yeah.
feel like nobody's highlighting us. We have like no bias to them, but like we got a lot of HBCU outfit pages, and it's like we got real
Yeah.
hitters. We got people putting their life in these songs, like these projects.
Hmm.
Like, who is talking about this? Who's
Yeah.
giving them the platform to speak?
I think I think that just is a real testament to the state of music. You know, you asked me one thing I learned about the music industry, and I will say I think the music industry as a business really leans into profiting off of black trauma. And so I do think that's why a lot of HBCU students aren't getting the recognition that they deserve or even getting the attention that they deserve because I think the minute that they hear we're in college, they see us as not marketable because we're not going to talk about being shot and killed. And
Don't
so
wake that
I
up. Why
think
would you wake that up on
yeah.
me?
Well, and yeah, so I think it's very important that like we as HBCU students do our best job to support our own. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I think we gotta put that engine behind us just to really show people like we do not have to be grieving toxic things in our communities in front of your face to be worthy of being heard.
And
That's
one
not.
example of that to me is Lizzo. I love
Yeah,
Lizzo's music,
yeah,
but it's not hitting for the urban side of my life. And I'm like, why do
hmm,
y'all not wanna
yeah,
let's be happy? You know, like
hmm,
I love that
yeah,
type of shit. So it makes me sad sometimes because you can see it internalized in a lot of our peers. And I'll be like,
exactly,
why are you
exactly.
even listening to that? That's not your life. That's like a whole
Mhm.
another person's trauma. What they go like,
Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with hearing it, but there is a difference between hearing and listening. And I think that's something that we have to really recognize. A lot of people internalize these things. And, you know, I don't get me wrong. Like, I love trap.
yeah.
Don't get it wrong. Like,
I be
we
turned
can
up.
talk
So
about trap music all day.
it ain't
But
that.
at the end of the day, like, I also got to recognize that we need more positivity. We
Yes.
need more healing. We need more just music that just takes the weight off instead of reminding us of the weight that we have on our back. So,
I definitely feel
yeah.
like that. And my last question, I have one final question for you.
Mhm.
So on your project, computer music, I heard you say, um, "Who would have known what I would have did if I knew I was talented back then?" So what would you do if you knew you were talented back then? Like, what would you imagine yourself doing? Like, would you be more proactive? Would you have found? Do you think you would have found your music faith a little bit earlier? Like, what does that look like for you?
So, honestly, I think I could sit here and say like, oh, I'd be recording a lot earlier. I'd be focused in on making the music a lot earlier. I think all of that stuff is probably, you know, things that would have definitely been different. But I think the biggest thing that would have been different would have just been my level of self love. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think like I spent so much time giving my gifts to everybody else in every other way that I didn't take a moment to figure out how my gifts best serve my life. And one thing that I've recognized through the music is that I've always like looked for peace of mind in different areas, whether that's been like joining organizations on campus or dating new people or smoking or just all these different things that you can get caught in. And like, I think while all those things are cool and they're cool vices and, they're there in different, ways, the truth of the matter is this music is my way of finding peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a safe way for me to get things off my chest, out of my mind, to vocalize things. And it's not harmful to anyone. You know what I mean? It's not leaving anyone hurt. It's just self-expression. And so, and then it can also help someone else. So it
Yeah.
kind of helps me feel like the battles I'm going through aren't for anything. And it's also this cool like timepiece. I'm able to listen back to songs that at one moment I might have been crying making the track, but now it's just like something fun to listen to. So for me, it's just been like a way to just appreciate who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I think if I knew how talented I was back then, I would have just moved to so much more self-respect, self love, and just confidence that I'm here with a purpose. Because I think once you figure that out and you get that confidence, everything about life changes. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the fact that I'm sitting here with you right now, if I didn't make choices that I did back in September last year, before that, I wouldn't be here able to have this type of conversation and to be having this context of my life. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a whole different thing. So, yeah, I do think, if I could learn stuff earlier and realize stuff about myself, I would have. But I'm so blessed. 'Cause I think, we talk about God a lot in this, but it's just the truth. I think He got a plan for all of us, and I don't think I'm necessarily moving at the wrong time at all. So at the same time, I probably wouldn't change a thing. You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, that was so positive. We'll end it there.
No. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, PAC. This is PAC. Everybody, make
Pleasure,
sure y'all
man.
go stream his project, Computer Music, his singles file 1001. And I don't know how to pronounce the new single, but it's a reggae single.
Forward.
It's fire.
Yeah.
One more time.
So you can pronounce it forward, but it's pronounced forward with a little Jamaican accent. It's just a little homage to where I'm from. So yeah.
I got you. And he's from Jamaica, y'all. He's in the AUC, attended Morehouse. Y'all go tap in with PAC. And make sure y'all follow him on all social media. Follow his DSPs, Spotify, Apple Music, buy his songs on iTunes, all that important stuff. And we'll wrap it up right there.
For sure.
All
Cool.
right. Any last words from you?
I appreciate everybody who supported so far, and just stay for the wave. It's Pac, and I can't wait for y'all to hear everything that's coming out soon.
All right, y'all. HBCU Tunes out.